You're watching National EMTV News. The Wafi Golpu mine plan of the proposal of the deep-sea tailing placement is highlighted as the most inhumane act in the world by national experts and other non-government organizations. A news conference was held yesterday in Port Moresby, where the organization representing the indigenous people of the area where the pipeline of the DSTP will run raised concerns over the possible impact to the surrounding communities as well as the aquatic environment.
The proposal of the deep-sea tailings placement was considered very inappropriate by the national expert, Professor Ralph Mana. Professor Mana added that the Office of the Conservation and Environment Protection Authority issued the environment permit without proper consultation with the people and has failed to consider some of the recommendations made by the national experts.
To have a DSTP, you got to study what you're going to destroy. This is part and parcel of a DSTP for the effective monitoring in the terms of the mining. You got to monitor what is happening when those toxic tailings are going into the sea. You got to monitor it. In order to monitor, you got to know what you're going to destroy. Yes? They don't have that. And how could they tick the box?
Mana added that the risk and potential impacts of this pipeline corridor have not been appropriately investigated by the company, thus prompted concerns from the future generation that will be severely affected from the toxic tailings. Peter Bosip, Executive Director of CELCOR, highlighted that there were no prior consent given by the people who will be affected. Thus, it's against the universal human rights.
For the Wafi Golpu mine to progress, proposing to discharge the tailings, the poison into the sea. The communities, more than 200,000 plus population living in the UN Gulf, they have never given the consent. We cannot rush this mine.
Over 200,000 people will be impacted from this proposed project. Mr. Bosip highlighted that it is important to consult the people and give them a chance to decide, as this will place a great impact on them for over 28 years.
If the people who will be affected, if they say no, then it should be a no. It's their life. Money is material thing. Life we live for once, and the generations to come will be affected. That must be seriously considered before issuing special mining lists. And the conservation and environment protection in particular, I think they have never done the due diligence in issuing the environment permit.
Joam Israel outlines that the Huon Gulf, where the tailing placement will be dumped, is home to many of the indigenous people for many years, and they rely greatly on the ocean for their daily livelihood.
Who in their right mind would approve such an environment permit? So as well as deep-sea tailing placement, we say no to the filtrate as well. Why? Because we want to live.
Mr. Israel highlighted that there is an existing knowledge gap and is urging the government to stand up for the people and address this issue. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.